Hello, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to some more Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Guys, I have a very special treat. This is going to be the Pyra. That's right, the ever-famous waifu of the Xenoblade Chronicles 2 fandom is finally here with her very own showcase. Now, a lot of people have been suggesting or requesting this particular blade, mainly due to the fact that she isn't as obviously as impressive as Mythra in terms of her sheer power. That being said though, don't let that deter you. Even though she might not have Lightspeed Flurry, the passive that lets you reset your cooldowns upon a critical hit, she still has some really nasty tricks up her sleeve, particularly her Resplendence passive. It is the strongest blade combo boost in the entire game, and due to her being a fire type, she can stack all of her combos indefinitely. So, before we begin with the Affinity Charts, I just want to have a look at her stats. Currently, we're going to be running with the Moon Matter chip. This is going to give us 35% critical rate. Very useful stuff. Pyra very much so benefits from having critical rate. It might not be as high as Mythra's, but she can make quite good use of it due to her specials and her other passive, which increases critical damage. As well, we're going to bring her up to S+ Trust. This means that we're going to have the highest auto attack damage on the Moon Matter chip of 1573 auto attack damage, as well overall just more good stuff coming from the Affinity Charts. We're going to maximize her damage and we want to have as much of it as possible. Pyra is a fantastic blade, and don't count her out just because she doesn't have Lightspeed Flurry. She is a powerful blade on her own right. But enough of that, let's have a look at the Affinity Chart. The first thing I want to look at is Resplendence. Now, Dagas also has a similar role to this one. So this is going to be a 72% increase, whereas Dagas is only 60%. Very useful stuff. Again, due to the fact that they are both fire types, they can stack upon each other and do some serious fireworks. Very powerful. Definitely play Pyra around this particular mechanic. As well, there's going to be Flaming Edge. Flaming Edge is very useful because you have increased critical damage. As well, this also stacks with Blazing Ends, which is 85%. If you can get this in a chain attack, you mean you have 2 orbs, and then she will do her level 3 combo, you're going to see some serious numbers with this, especially at S+ Trust. It's so useful, and honestly, like, in conjunction with Resplendence, and if you get a critical hit on a blade combo, it's really nutty stuff what you can pull off with this setup. And there's going to be Purifying Flames. Now, this more than anything is just going to be sort of like the starting equipment. Like, this would only be useful as you're going through the main story. Because these showcases kind of do focus on the post-game builds, we won't be making as much use of this. That being said though, it's still useful when it does come up, or if you're in fights with a lot of adds, just due to the fact that her level 2 combo, Prominence Revolt, has a sort of forward AoE. Speaking of which, Prominence Revolt is quite nice because it's fairly quick. You can pull this off on any toppled enemies, not to mention the fact that Pyra also does come with a topple, so keep that in mind. And finally, there's going to be Flame Nova. Again, increases damage dealt to beasts, quite useful overall. It's again mainly just for main story purposes, but I believe maybe 1 or 2 of the super bosses can get extra damage from this, but I wouldn't bank on it too much. More often than not, you want to be spamming Blazing Ends, the level 3 combo, as much as you can, and due to the fact that Pyra and Mythra swapping between each other has no cooldown whatsoever, you can actually use Mythra's Lightspeed Flurry to quickly start building up specials, and then use Pyra to completely, literally, burn all that special meter into a powerful combo. They're both very powerful together, and I don't see why that would make Pyra any worse. More than anything, I find that Mythra actually accentuates Pyra's sheer firepower. It's really good stuff. Also, sorry with all these fire puns, it just happens. It happens. Okay, so Aux Cores. So we're going to increase the critical up, boost the critical rates. I have a level 4 one here. The level 5 version is going to be on Mythra right now, due to the fact that we want to reliably make use of Lightspeed Flurry. Main reason why we have this though, again, she benefits from having a high critical rate, and we want as much of that as we can afford. There's also going to be Blade Combo Boost, which will increase our damage even further. This is just lots and lots of damage that we're stacking up, but that's what Pyra is all about. She has amazing utility in the form of her topple, But then when you add on to that blade combo boost, you're going to see some serious damage, and I cannot wait to show you what you're capable of in today's demonstration. But before we cut the video, I also want to look at Rex's build. So currently we are running the accessories Avant-Garde Metal. This is to give us some more tankiness. Whenever Pyra does a special, it's going to be a full heal no matter what, so it's important that you build up the special as quickly as you can before letting it all off. As well, there is Omega Drive, again, critical hits, Party Gauge. Having Party Gauge is extremely important, and Mythra and Pyra are able to build that up quicker than anyone else. Not to mention the level 4 combo of Pyra can build about like 1.5 meters. Very useful stuff. You want to have as many invincibility cooldowns as you can for most of the super bosses anyway, so this is just a nice way to help us smooth out the process. And of course there's going to be the pouch setup. Nothing special about this one. Char-Grilled Grumbird, Astrology made simple, more special damage, obviously, Richard's Arts by 0.48 seconds, just to make things as fast as possible. This is going to be a very fast-paced style of play, switching between the two blades, mainly just finishing things off with Pyra, but then Mythra will get things started. Really cool stuff, and I cannot wait to show you for today's little demonstration. Also, I just want to quickly look at the party we'll be using. It's going to be Zeke with Dagas and Morag with Zenobia. They're mainly just there to sort of, you know, fill in the space in case anyone faints. They're going to be the ones to revive. Very easy to do considering how quickly we can actually build up our party gauge. And not to mention Dagas will give us increased damage for blade combos as well as the Kaiser Zone, which is an additional 120% overall damage. So, we're going to go ahead, cut the video. See you guys there. Alrighty, so here we are at the demonstration. Once again, Tyranitar Kuradil gracing us with his presence. I know, you guys are probably tired of seeing him, but really, what better way to show off what Pyra is capable of than by pitting her against the highest level enemy in the game? So one funny thing to note is that because there was no cooldown timer between switching Pyra with Mythra, you actually can build up your special while waiting for your special to actually build up. It's very, very useful stuff, and I would recommend doing it in scenarios where you just want to build up the special meter as quickly as possible. Now, ideally, you want to be spamming the level 3 combo with Pyra, or sorry, the level 3 special with Pyra the entire time. Like, she will fill in all 3 roles of the special, and we're only going to be using Mythra for meter building purposes, and if ever we do find ourselves in an emergency situation, then we can use Dagas to do another stage of the fire combo. Otherwise though, Pyra will be doing all 3 just due to the fact that she has some insane multipliers. So here we go. I'm going to be tanking, but because we have the Avant-Garde Metal, we can face tank it with full confidence. And wait for this to finish, cancel it out, and straight into the level 3. Very quick, we already have an orb, and this could be about, I believe this is like 1/3 of the health bar that we're going to be getting pretty soon. So what's going to happen here is we're going to cancel a few times. Yes, and that's going to be our invincibility. Speaking of invincibility, a very interesting thing that I've noticed, a sizable advantage that Pyra has over Mythra, is the fact that the level 4 combo charges up much faster in comparison to Mythra's. Like with Mythra, not only is it restricted to only being used outdoors, which really isn't that much of a problem, but like it is a problem or a disadvantage all on its own. But the fact is though, the time that it takes to build a level 3 combo into a level 4 combo is much, much faster with Pyra, and I'm comparing it to 2 units that have the exact same trust, so that wasn't really a factor. Again, I don't know if that was intentional or not, but that is something that must be considered when you're building a team, because fighting against bosses, especially Tyranitar and Kuradil, as long as you're able to properly manage your your invincibility cooldowns or your safety cooldowns, then really like Pyra does have sort of an advantage on that front. That being said though, it's not like you have to choose either or, like they are essentially the same blade, but honestly though, like there's no reason for Mythra to hog all the spotlight when Pyra can do some pretty impressive damage. And you'll see over here how much meter we're going to build up with this combo. Already almost full. And here we go. Yeah, I have to start tanking this one too. Yes. So yeah, at this point on, it's probably just going to be us. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and just build up another level 4 combo, because this one's a lot of fun to watch. And if I see him doing anything funny, then we'll know what to do. Bone Crusher, yep, okay, that's funny. Yeah, so it's really, really fun though. Whenever you see the text appear beneath the health bar, feel free to do your level 4 special. Look how much damage that is. And also, we're not even going to be using Herald for this one either, so it's not like we're going to burn through them completely. Oh, there's the Rampage Train. Going to cancel that one immediately. Do not want to be dealing anywhere with that one. This is actually a very squishy build that we're running with right now. Like, if you have, like, 9,000 HP, then the Rampage Train isn't a problem. But because we have the party that we have, it's important to start managing your invincibilities as best as you can. Okay, so this won't be quite enough to kill, but that's alright. Hopefully this is a crit. Yeah, oh, that is some nice crit damage. That's the really cool thing about Pyra, though. She's not as obviously as overpowered as Mythra. Like, Mythra, you see the Lightspeed Flurry, you have a pretty good idea of why she's so strong, and that's great. It's just that Pyra has the big numbers. Like, if you want the big numbers, you go with a Pyra. That's all I can really say. Like, the way that I feel about Pyra, really, is kind of the same way that I feel, I guess if I were to liken her to another video game, probably liken her to, like, a, I don't know, maybe like a Fire-type starter from Pokemon? Maybe that would be the best comparison that I can draw. Mainly just due to the fact that, like, the internet will tell you over and over and over again that the Fire starter that you have is not as competitive or viable as you think it is. And, you know, while Xenoblade Chronicles isn't a competitive game, like, there is a bunch of blades that are out there vying for your spots on the team. And honestly, though, like, Pyra can definitely compete for that spot, just due to the fact that she has so much usefulness all on her own. Okay, so we're in a very, very scary position right now. Yeah, a very scary position. So I'm gonna go ahead and try to have Modak revived, and then while that's going on, we're going to go ahead and revive Zeke, and I'm gonna try to push him away so that these guys can kind of fight in safety. So hopefully the RNG is going to be good for us, and we can kind of tank our way through all these shots. Alright, so yeah, the worst is basically over. We're going to go ahead, do the level 4 combo. That's going to be full meter for us, and then we can go straight into another chain attack, and that's going to be curtains for Tyranitar and Kuradil. So, really all I can say though is that, like, in comparison to, like, a Fire-type starter on Pokemon, like, that's what Pyra is, though. You start off with her, she basically does her job of leading you through the opening parts of the main story. But the thing is, though, the internet can tell you over and over and over again that your Typhlosion's not very good, but at the end of the day, if all you want to do is go to the Battle Tower and then spam Eruption with a Choice Specs Typhlosion, then honestly, I don't see why you don't have to do that. Again, this is a completely single-player game, and honestly, you might as well have a lot of fun with just picking your favorite characters and then making them as overpowered as possible. You can pouch spam any blade in the game to greatness if you like them enough. If you're willing to put in the time to make them good, then you can make them good, and that's what Pyra is, though. Pyra is not nearly as bad. In fact, I would say she's amazing. Those blade combo damages that we've been pulling off left and right, even before I started recording this one, we've been hitting the cap with every blade combo. It's really, really fun to watch, and it's a very fast-paced playstyle as well, working with a Lightspeed Flurry. And honestly, I don't see why that would make her bad. She is a fantastic blade. Don't let anyone tell you different. She is phenomenal. So guys, thanks very, very much for joining me for today's showcase. I don't know if this will be the last showcase. I mean, we do have a couple of other blades that we still have yet to cover, but if you guys want to see that, feel free. I don't mind making them. I quite enjoy making these showcases, and I'll make them. I'll continue making them if you guys promise to keep watching them. But we do have a special video in the works. It's not going to come out the day after this comes out. We might have to invest a little bit more time on it, but I promise it's going to be fantastic, and I hope you guys look forward to that one as well. So guys, thanks very much for joining me, and I will see you next time.